Today is September 7th, and this weekend we're going to be hiking the Chicago Basin via Purgatory Creek Trail. For a full hike review of Chicago Basin, you can check the link below. So this is now that the train is down for 2018 and hopefully not all of 2019, but probably some of it. The easiest way to get into Chicago Basin, where there's 4 14ers. You can check out my other videos for those full route descriptions, but this one will just focus on the actual approach itself. So heard conflicting reports on how long, but about, I believe, 7 extra miles versus what the train would bring you in, so about 12, 13 each way. But obviously we'll be keeping you updated along the way. Should be pretty mellow on the way in, and then on the way out, I've heard a lot of elevation gains. First junction of the day, you're going to want to continue right this way. Second junction here, pretty obvious because the log is in the way, but you're just going to go this way. So working along the river now, we found a ton of little side trails. So just kind of try to stay right with all of them. It's hard to point them all out because there's just so many, but having like a GPS or just at least a map of where you're going, it's really helpful on this one. But right now, just working along the river here, kind of rolling terrain. Nothing too crazy yet, but that's not really what this approach is about. So plugging away. Climbing up next to the river, see it down there. So a little more elevation gain here. Nothing too crazy, but pretty steady uphill, I'd say. I believe we're about 3 miles in, about 4 miles in now. So you can see the train tracks. It's like this clearing down in here, goes all the way up there. So we're gonna work our way down off this little hill here and then take a left. And you can't actually walk on the train tracks because when you get to your destination, you're going to be on the wrong side of the river, and the river, as I'll show you when we get closer, is pretty dieseled across. So definitely follow the trail, even though it seems really enticing to take the train tracks. Just be sure to follow the trail itself. But you can kind of see the remainder of our approach, or at least a lot of it. We kind of work through this valley here, and then we're eventually going to go back left, I believe. So we're like 4.5 miles here, and look for this bridge. This is where you want to cross the Animas River. One quick note about the river too. So a couple years ago, there was some mining issues with it. So you don't want to drink this water. It's not super safe. Even if you have a pump, I wouldn't recommend it. But it's pretty beautiful. And then from here, yeah, you're just working up that way. A little over 10 miles in, got a second bridge crossing here. I believe this used to be a river crossing you'd have to make on your own. Obviously they've since added a bridge, which is awesome. This is a very long approach though. So right now, obviously if you didn't take the train, you'd be adding at least 21 miles round trip. So pay attention in this junction, you can miss this sign. Don't want to go that way, you want to go this way. This sign says 7 miles. It's very much lying. We all have at least 10.3 or so. So I don't know who measured that out, but it's not correct. But in any case, you're going this way. At the trail registry here, so just over 10.3 miles. So if you had taken the train in, that junction I just showed you, you would have come up the way I told you not to go. So obviously, this is the way you want to go up to Chicago Basin. So basically, if you don't take the train, which either you don't want to or it's not an option, which it wasn't for us, you're adding approximately 20 miles, 20.6 miles to your hike round trip. From here, we still have about 5 miles or so up to the area where we can camp, and I'll bring you up there as well and show you those areas. From this point, you're really going to start to pick up elevation. We're only around 8.4 right now, and you camp around 11,000 feet, and we only have about 4 miles, so you can do the math there. It's going to be pretty steep, but from there, you'll be close to all 4 of the Chicago Basin 14ers, which I will have separate videos for, and you can check the links below or information below about that. You can also check the link below for more information about the train fees, if it is actually running when you want to come out here. A couple of notes about the Chicago Basin: you're never allowed to have fires. You're supposed to pack in and pack out everything, including toilet paper. There's going to be a ton of mountain goats up here, and they really can be destructive for the land, so I'll talk some more about them if we see them, and kind of good practices on how to deal with them when you're up here. Just over 12 miles into the hike now, so we have about 3 to go. This right here is the New York Creek, a very solid bridge here, and it runs into the Needleton Creek right there. So far, elevation has been slow and steady, but honestly, I was mentally like checked out of this hike before I even got here. It's just been a very long week with getting married last weekend, and I'm just very tired. I think all of us are. So just come mentally prepared. It's a very long, grinded out kind of a hike, and we still have 3 miles and 2,000 feet of elevation still to go. Just under 14.5 total miles in. Morale is low, but we are almost there. Giving you a quick look at the sunset here. So we are nearing Chicago Basin, and at that point you'll have a good opportunity to camp. If you're looking to do Elois, North Elois, Windham, and Sunlight, it's a great spot to camp. If you're looking to just do some more backcountry adventures here, it's a great base camp. First look at the Chicago Basin. Overall, my notes on the Chicago Basin approach via the Purgatory Creek or Purgatory Flat Trail. I'd say it's definitely a long hike. It's not too much elevation gain, but it's tedious enough where if you're carrying a heavy bag like this one, it could definitely get old after a while. Definitely dog friendly, lots of water sources along the way for pumping, so you don't have to worry about bringing a ton of water as long as you have a filter system. But overall, this is a cool place to backpack. Personally, it's a long slog for me. I might just be mentally in not a great spot. I don't know if I'd come back, but very peaceful. And I'll give you one quick whirl around here. Again, for the next part of this video, you can check out my next videos, which will be on Windham Peak and Sunlight Peak, and then also North Elois and Elois Peak, which are all 4 14ers. But thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe to not miss any future adventures and hikes here in Colorado. Thanks for watching. So there's a goat, and Nick just peed over there, and you can see that it's like trying to dig the ground up. Sorry, I'm a little out of focus there. But that's why they don't want you to pee on the ground. They want you to pee on rocks, because these goats really need the saline in your pee, so they really can be destructive to the area. But it's pretty cool. But there you go, it's digging up, and I guess it can be a pretty big nuisance.